governor's office telling us talks are ongoing to extend the state's gas tax suspension. The current suspension expires at the end of the month. Right now, that suspension is saving drivers about 29 cents a gallon. Tonight, we're answering your questions about monkeypox after the CDC confirmed.
Now, this is one sweet automobile. All this other stuff that's out here on the roadways today, compared to this, is junk. Plastic. But this is an automobile.
Oil used for cooking and food processing and breakfast cereals as a result.
You might have to buy a substitute product other than your favorite product at the shelf. These are problems that retailers are continuing to deal with and are likely going to have to continue to deal with as well.
It seems like it's doubling. The price is more and double than it was before the pandemic came. It's just getting outrageous.
But Hanfield says prices won't necessarily double. You'll more likely see a 9% increase in prices compared to what you normally would pay.
Be aware that it's going to cost more. I think, people are going to start asking for raises to be able to catch up and keep up with that.
Paula Suro, 11 Alive News.
At 4:15 this afternoon, 820,000 people had cast their ballots during the early voting period in Georgia.
That is more than double the number of votes cast during the same period in 2018, the last midterm election. More than 400,000 Republicans voted early compared to just under 300,000 people who asked for a Democratic Party ballot. One GOP political strategist tells Fox 5 that the huge turnout proves Georgia's new election laws don't make it more difficult for people to vote.
Any claims to the contrary are being blown out of the water by the fact that every legal voter has 3 weeks of early voting and then Tuesday to show up if they haven't done it yet.
4th is now the final day to cast your ballot. If you haven't already done so, voters have several key races to decide this year, including U.S. Senate, U.S. House, and, of course, Georgia governor.
Republican gubernatorial candidate David Perdue secured the endorsement of former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. The former vice presidential candidate joined Perdue in Savannah today. The former U.S. Senator is trailing incumbent Governor Brian Kemp in the polls. But Perdue is
driving many voters who spoke with 11 Alive News. But some had some hidden gems.
Also, the issues of legalizing marijuana. I think there's economic power there.
A lot of people don't care about judicial races, but they're very important to our state.
The first issue Michelle King mentioned is a Georgia Supreme Court race.
I'm a lawyer, so I am particularly impacted by judicial races.
Trump is angering me. That's all I'm going to say about him.
And then there's Donald Trump.
So I would try to minimize Donald Trump's influence.
Republican Buzz McComber says he voted against the former president's hand-picked Georgia candidates.
So I think his behaviors for quite a period of time have done discredit to him, to the office, and to our democracy.
The far left, the far right, most of us are in the middle.
Yet the surge in early voting isn't necessarily driven by issues, says political scientist Andrew Gillespie.
People may be taking advantage of early voting as a convenience, and this is becoming part of the habit.
I normally early vote because I don't like lines, and I feel like I just want to go in, get it out the way, and go on about my day.
high inflation. Americans are dealing with surging gas prices and a critical shortage of baby formula. All of those factors now leading to the lowest poll numbers since President Biden took office. A new Associated Press poll finds 67% of Americans now disapprove of his handling of the economy.
A federal judge has blocked the Biden administration from ending a COVID-era health order that makes it easier to turn people away at the border. Title 42, enacted during the pandemic, allowed the government to quickly turn away migrants, citing public health concerns. Well, last month, the CDC ruled Title 42 was no longer necessary. The policy was originally scheduled to end on Monday, but even with Title 42 still in place, illegal border crossings are the highest they have ever been. New data shows more than 234,000 migrant encounters in April alone. That's the highest amount ever recorded by DHS.
Controversy is brewing overseas.
The ballots have voted Republican. This year's total so far is a 180% increase from the same point in the early voting period during the 2018 primary election. 11 Alive's Doug. Red, white, and blue shoes. They are really sharp, aren't they? At least half of the cloth used in the shoe is made from recycled plastic. They're already available to buy online for $130. Virtual registration for the HAC Peachtree Road Race ends June 4th. The race takes place, of course, on July 4th, and you'll see it on
Reserve in southwest Atlanta. She was not hurt. There is a new security camera monitoring the parking lot and the front entrance, but there are other ways to enter the massive 125-acre park. Park enthusiast Cecilia Torrance often walks the park with a group of seniors.
I reached out to Mayor Dickens this morning, and he responded back that he is aware of it, and they're going to see what they can do to help us.
The organized group will meet with city leaders next week. They want dedicated officers who will patrol Cascade.
Police say this man was caught on surveillance cameras breaking into 2 separate units at Extra Space Storage in Duluth. Officials say he got away with electronics and tools. Anyone with information is being asked to contact the Gwinnett County Police Department. And Chief Meteorologist